Alright everybody, welcome back. Today we have some story quests to do and it's going to be only one, but hey, one after another, so I didn't have enough time to do it earlier. I know that I said that I will, but in the end I didn't have enough time. So, we are doing the Chlorine story quest today. Let's unlock it. Yeah. Accept it. Come on, let me at least collect the other key. So, Judgment Day. Alright. Yeah, let's go straight to the quest.
Do you also see Navia and Clorand over there?
Chlorine.
They look like they might
Okay.
have run into some kind of trouble. Let's go check out what's going on.
Some kind of trouble doesn't seem to me like that. Dramatic Paimon.
Still no dice?
Not at all. And I've asked pretty much everyone in the court of Fontaine already. Lynette's ears drooped as soon as she heard that we'd have to be out and about for days on end. And Fremine, he hid himself under his helmet as soon as he realized there'd be people around that he didn't know.
What about Chiori and Charlotte? I feel like both of them would be more than up to it.
I've asked them already, but they're both pretty busy right now. I just gave the members of the Spina a few days off, too, so I don't want to bother them either.
This is getting pretty difficult.
Navia, Clorand, what's up?
Oh my. Well, if it isn't my dear partners. How are you all doing?
Huh. Navia?
Huh? Oh, you mean...
Yep, this is our chance.
What are you going to do? We were just passing through.
Do you need our help with something?
Oh, precisely. My dear partners, we've got a huge problem right now that only you can solve.
Whoa, for real?
So dramatic.
Absolutely. We've already exhausted all our other options.
What kind of problem? Tell me about
Traveler?
it.
Paimon, would you join us and play Mars Chaussee Hunter Judgment Day?
Okay.
Mara Chaussee, what now?
It's a new game script by the Tabletop Troupe, a local roleplay adventure club.
Ever heard of the Tabletop Troupe? They put out games that allow you to participate in a story and roleplay characters with your friends. Oh, I've loved their stuff ever since I was a kid.
That sounds super interesting.
Clorand and I are both veteran members of the club. Recently, someone came up with a new script and was looking for people to help playtest it for them. And when they asked, of course I couldn't refuse. I mean, come on, a brand new script? Nobody has ever played it before.
Generally speaking, scripts at that level of development have a lot of issues. But I think this one is pretty solid. The author obviously put a lot of work into the story, and the world building is also quite credible.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I know I was the one that handed you the script, but some of us haven't read it yet. No spoilers, please.
Anyway,
Okay.
the script calls for a team of 4. Ah, yes. We're missing one final player right now.
You were right. That is a big problem. Not really, but
So,
okay.
You're saying you'll help us out? I knew I could count on you, partner.
Paimon and the Traveler are kind of a package deal. Is that okay?
That's not a problem. I'll adjust the pace based on the actual number of players, and ensure that everyone has a good time.
Well, Traveler, what do you think? Wanna play? Paimon will follow your lead.
Well, I always help friend in need.
Well, that solves our problem. You have our thanks.
Woohoo! I'll go grab the script manager from the club right away.
The script manager? Didn't you just say that you gave Clorand the script?
The club introduced a completely new kind of gameplay for this script. In this iteration, the Game Master's version of the script is incomplete. The script manager provides the next part of the script only after players have completed the current list of objectives. On top of that, in order to increase player immersion, the club has created some of the story's sets and scenes in real life. We'll only know where we should go once the script manager reveals the starting location.
Wow, you're right. Whoever wrote this script really did put in a lot of work.
And it's got a real healthy amount of suspense, right? I mean, even the GM doesn't know how the story will end.
I look forward to experiencing it with you all.
Why don't you go meet up with the others first? They should all be waiting at Chioria Boutique. I'll come over with the script manager as soon as I find them.
Sounds good.
With others, and
Remember to
then
always
there's
watch where
only
you're going,
one
and
person
don't
left
rush.
if we are talking about
You say
4
that like
people
I'm 6
in the
years
team.
old or something.
Because you
Let me
cannot
think.
count Paimon.
What kind of character should
She's
I play
useless.
this time?
I just hope you'll pick up some useful skills this time. Oh, and stop trying to persuade every animal you come across.
Oh god. Okay. That was the very beginning of the quest, and yes, I've seen that it is 2 hours and 15 minutes long, so not really happy about that, but hey, it is what it is. I hope that it is going to be at
Sorry to
least
keep you waiting.
somewhat
You're back.
interesting.
And you've got the Traveler and Paimon with you too.
What a pleasant surprise. I assume you'll be joining us for the game then?
Linny, Farina! Paimon didn't know you were playing too. Are you also members of the tabletop troupe?
Hey, you two.
I'm more of a casual member, if anything. I haven't taken part in many formal club activities. Lynette Fremine and I play something similar at the Hotel Bouffe Tété sometimes, but I'm usually the GM. Still, I'm sure it'll be fun being a player for the first time. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I'm not a member of the club at all. Clarion simply woke me up first thing this morning, said there was a good script worth experiencing, and asked if I wanted in.
If you're interested, I can give you a referral. That should give you a 40% discount on membership fees.
I think I'll wait to see how this experience plays out first, especially when it comes to the quality of the script. If it's sufficiently fun, then I'll join.
Do you participate in a lot of tabletop troupe activities, Clarion?
You could say that. She's actually one of the few senior game masters of the troupe.
Right. I knew about that even when she was still my subordinate.
It's nothing. Really, just a small hobby of mine.
Wow. Paimon's so used to seeing
I mean,
me
it
be
does
all
sound like a
outstanding
hobby
and
anyways.
intimidating as the champion duelist.
So
kinda
if
like
we
to
have a
imagine you
problem
role-playing
with
with a
any
bunch
of the
of friends.
rules, do we have to submit a duel request to you?
Surely you jest. I would never intentionally make things difficult for my players. I maintain a clear boundary between my professional and personal lives. The me you see at court represents the law and order of Fontaine. I put all personal feelings to the side and grant a fair duel to all who seek to defend their honor. But in my personal life, I'm just an ordinary person. Someone who feels anger and sadness, just like everyone else.
Well, you say that, but for all the time I've known you, I don't think I've ever seen you cry. I've seen you get angry, sure, but now I'm wondering whether you were actually mad or if it just looked that way from the outside.
I was probably in work mode during those times.
Is that so? Well, in any case, I just feel like even in your personal life, you don't get emotional very often.
So you want to see me cry? That might be a little difficult. A show of anger, though, that might be something I could accomplish.
No, that's not what I meant.
Okay, come on.
Ah, I'm back. Here, allow me to introduce you to the script manager, Mr. Florian.
Pleasure to meet you all.
Hello. Wait, are you a champion duelist too, Mr. Florian?
Oh, no. This is just the costume provided by the club. I occasionally play a few of the roles in my scripts.
That sounds like a lot of work.
It's nothing. It's the least we can do to give the players a more immersive experience. Anyway, allow me to give you a brief introduction of the script. This script was adapted from the real history of the Marechaussee Hunters. You all will play the role of hunters from a bygone era and resolve a series of events unfolding in the capital.
Paimon's not super familiar with the history of the Marechaussee Hunters. Is that a problem?
Oh, no problem at all. I can give you a brief rundown. So, basically, Marechaussee Hunters were people who dedicated themselves to hunting monsters and protecting the city by using a special swordsmanship technique passed down over generations. Their story can be traced back to the ancient Remurian dynasty, as well as the first hunter, Cassiodor. But I'll leave the finer details for you to seek out and discover later.
You know that I'm not going
And
to
I'll
read
provide
anything,
additional
and I
commentary
don't
as the story
really
progresses.
care about some side
case-
stories.
Brave hunters, are you ready to set out on an unknown adventure?
Whoa, just one sentence and it's like we're in the story already.
Aha, I see many a determined gaze before me. Very well, head over to this location and begin your heroic journey.
So, as we follow the story, it leads us to specific scenes? Ooh, sounds pretty innovative. What does the message in the envelope say?
It's the exact location of the scene, as well as the formal permission to use the venue. Huh, seems like they have everything prepared. Please check all your belongings, everyone, and make sure you haven't forgotten anything. Once you're ready, please follow me to the designated location.
Sounds good. Hunter Squad, move out.
That was already the first part of the quest? No, dude, come on. How is it even possible that it is like... Was it even 10 minutes? Yeah, it was exactly 10 minutes. Come on. The venue. I don't really see the venue. Okay. Of course that it has to be a little bit further away. And I'm already out of stamina.
Whoa, they really have thought of everything. Even the phaetometer is here and ready to go for us.
The phaetometer. What's that?
It's a card that's used to determine action success or failure. We'll need to use it when we try to use certain skills.
And what about all the dessert and tea? Is that for us as well?
That's what the message
No,
says.
that's only for the winner.
Really? That's so nice. It feels just like a tea party with friends.
Those snacks have Paimon's name written all over them.
I think you might be more of a snack hunter than a Marachose hunter, Paimon.
Definitely.
Paimon reported for duty. If there are delicious snacks to be found, Paimon will track down every last one.
The desserts are great. But I'm still looking forward to the story more than anything.
Very fair. Then, let us begin. First, please pick up the blank character cards in front of you, and write down your name and profession. You can find an abbreviated version of the rules printed on the back of your character card. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. In this story, everyone is a Marachose hunter. To reflect this, the club has prepared a small badge for everyone.
Okay.
Ooh, nice.
As hunters, you have proficiency in swordsmanship and fighting by default, so there's no need to allocate any additional skill points to those areas.
Swordsmanship? So there's a fighting part to all of this? Paimon's not sure she can do all that on her own. Maybe Paimon can just stick with you?
Why
no.
don't you share a character card then? The traveler will
Just
be
go
the
to the
Marachose
side
hunter,
and
you
please
can
don't
be his
eat
little floating
absolutely
assistant.
everything. And that's it.
Huh, kinda like in real life.
Yes, Navia,
for the
thank you.
name,
Finally
Do
someone
I fill it out with
realizing
the name
it.
of my character?
Yep. It can be any name you like.
You can use your real name too if you want. I do that whenever I get too lazy to think of a new name.
Oh, so it would be like experiencing a different life, but still as yourself. That's not a bad idea.
Not bad, but not
In that
so
case,
good
I think I'll continue
either.
to use the name Linny then.
Next up is the skill sheet. You have a limited amount of skill points that you can use to learn a number of skills. The more points you invest in a particular skill, the easier it will be to pass associated checks.
I'll take persuasion and investigation. Those are must-haves when it comes to missions like these.
Oh, those skills sound like they'd be useful for gathering intelligence. Good idea, Navia. Just is expected of a veteran player.
So, should we also take those skills then?
Not necessarily. Since we're working together as a team, we could leave the negotiations to Navia and use our skill points to pick up other useful skills. For example, I think I'll take stealth and sleight of hand. That will give us more options if we run into any situations we can't negotiate our way out of.
Oh, interesting. I wasn't thinking about it like that.
Like,
I
dude, they are
suppose it's
picking
not
the
so
exactly
different from
same
an acting
things
troupe.
that they are
Everyone has their
using
own role to play.
as a character in the
see.
game.
I'll take arts and performance. I'm not quite sure what use they'll be, but I'm not as knowledgeable about the other skills, and I am not too confident I'd be able to roleplay them well.
Well, that leaves us. What do you want to learn, Traveler?
Insight.
Oh, something that'll help you get a read on other people's thoughts. Sounds useful.
Okay,
Ooh,
medicine.
so you want to help people when they're injured. That's nice of you. So what do you think? Are you sure you want to learn these two skills?
Yes.
Let's see. Oh, looks like you each have enough points to choose one final skill.
You've
What?
all picked such classic skills. It's fine to go a little bit out of the box, you know.
Why do I get the feeling she's getting ready to cause trouble?
For example, this one here. Summon. Doesn't it sound super mysterious and cool?
Oh, I saw that one just
Welcome,
now as well.
Naruto.
The description says, this skill can be used under certain circumstances to summon characters or creatures that fit the script's world-building rules.
The script's world-building rules, huh? But how are we supposed to know what a Marashose hunter can summon?
Oh, that's not for us to worry about, my friend. Just learn the skills that interest you, and the GM will take care of the rest.
All right, you've convinced Paimon. Let's learn summon then. Paimon can't wait to see what kind of thing shows up.
Well, now that
I
everyone's
guess
more or less
slimes.
finished creating their characters,
Nothing
we can
better.
begin. Since two of our players are doing this for the first time, though, let me ask, would you like to play on easy mode or authentic mode?
What's the difference between the two?
Well, in role-playing games, the story
You still
sometimes
didn't finish
changes
the quest.
based on the decisions of the players
Well, at
and
least
the
you
results
will
of the
be able
phaetometer.
to skip it.
For example, if you fail a check, that means you cannot use the target skill in that scenario. A critical failure may even result in further negative consequences. If you choose to play in authentic mode, every time you elect to use a skill, you'll need to use the phaetometer to see whether you succeed or fail, and face any consequences that may follow. If you choose easy mode instead, every check will be successful by default, and you won't have to worry about luck playing a factor.
Okay, whatever. We are going on hard mode.
Given that I'd like to focus on the story, I suppose I should pick easy mode. I'd feel bad if I brought the team down by failing my checks.
Huh?
Wow.
Oh, come on. Don't worry about that. RNG is the lifeblood of role-playing games. I'm going with authentic mode for sure. Never knowing what you might have to overcome. Ugh, doesn't that sound exciting?
I'd
I
rather
mean,
be
it
mentally prepared
sounds
for what might
interesting.
happen.
Let's go and just play
Alright,
something. You
then
know,
I'll
you
mark
will
down Farina for easy mode.
do
All
something
her
in the
checks will be
game
successful by
finally,
default.
not only fighting, but
As
hey,
usual, Navia
at
and
least
Winnie
some
will play
puzzle
on
games or
authentic
whatever,
mode.
some card games.
What about you, dear partner?
So it's okay.
How would you like to play?
It's okay by now,
Are you sure?
but
Trust me, you'll see the beauty
you
of
know
RNG.
they are still talking too much,
Honestly,
and
I don't
I've
think
seen that
Florand
it
would make
is
things
over
too
2
difficult
hours
for us,
long,
no matter what the
so
phaetometer says.
it's
Isn't
going
that
to
right,
be a
Florand?
long night.
No promises.
That wasn't super reassuring.
Well, anyway, enough talk. Let's get started. I want to experience at least a good chunk of the story today.
Speaking of the story, why
I
is the
want to
beginning
skip
scene
a
on a
lot
beach?
of story.
Well, that's because a long time ago, back when human civilization was still in its infancy, powerful demons and evil sorcerers ruled over the land. They created a host of monsters and sent them to slaughter all humans in existence. Soon, a group of human rebels banded together. With their swords raised, they swore to brave the darkness, and in doing so, subdue each and every monster that sought their destruction. They became known as the Marachose Hunters.
Alright. Loading screen.
Sometime later, as a member of the Marachose Hunters, you receive
You
a
got
commission.
fever! Oh
Following
god.
the address provided on the message, you take a boat and arrive at this strange city. As you inhale, you can taste the slightly salty air of the docks as you begin to survey your surroundings. There aren't many people in the vicinity, but you do take note of a few others who, like you, seem to be sizing up this place. Your eyes meet, and you realize these people are fellow Marachose hunters, likely led to this location after receiving the same commission as you.
You're all Marachose hunters too, right? Allow me to introduce myself. The name's Navia, monster hunter by trade and helpful neighborhood businesswoman on the side. What say you to traveling together? We can help each other out on the road.
Okay, count me in. My name is Linny. I've been wandering since I was little. and
Welcome,
picked up a few
Takato.
less than legal tricks along the way. I was adopted by a Marachose
I'm
hunter
trying
and
to
later
do it
chose
every
to
single
follow in
day,
his
so
footsteps.
didn't have time yesterday,
Is this
but
where
today
you
I have enough
introduce
time
your
to do
character
it.
to everyone? It sounds like they've done this dozens of times. My name is Farina, and, I grew up in a noble family. I always had a strong interest in performance and the arts. Even though I'm a Marachose hunter, what I really want is to be a performing artiste.
Hey, that's really cool. You can do it, Farina. That's exactly how it's done.
Paimon is Paimon, a good friend and companion to this Marachose hunter right here.
I've been studying medicine ever since I was a child. I want to do my part to eradicate these monsters and use
Strongest
what I've
character,
learned to heal
but
others.
is he a
Oh,
healer?
welcome. When we face the monsters, I'll make sure to charge in front to give everyone some cover. You can take care of the healing at the back.
You open your envelopes at the same time. The message reads, "To the honorable and trustworthy Marachose hunters, our kingdom is currently facing a grave crisis. The lands outside the capital have been overtaken by monsters, and our people are being led astray by forces of wickedness. We beseech you, please help us resolve this crisis and return peace and stability to our home."
Huh. The layout of this city looks super familiar.
Did she say it? I didn't even hear it.
Paimon of Mondstadt!
The scriptwriter must have used a real-world city as a reference when coming up with the map.
As experienced hunters, the layout of the city reminds you of places once traveled. You recall the sight of tree-lined streets and the gentle tranquility of days gone by. Yet, as you regard the city in front of you, it appears to be little more than an empty shell. Its hollow gates are open to you, beckoning you to come forth and bring salvation back to the town.
I carefully read every line of the letter and turn my attention to the signatures at the bottom. Who issued this commission to us?
You see a long string of unfamiliar names. It would seem that many of the residents of the city issued this commission together. They sensed that things were not right within the kingdom and sent a distress signal to the outside world.
In that case, why don't we take a walk around the city and see if we can learn
Yeah, it's
anything
the
from
story
the local
quest
residents?
from the
Oh, good idea.
Florent.
We might be able to get some leads on the monsters and bad guys we're after.
You look up and see a tavern nearby. It appears to be open for the day.
Why don't we go check out that tavern? If the novels I've read are anything to go by, taverns are usually full of information.
They are actually just like it is to
As you
it
approach
is
the
to
tavern,
me.
you find a plainly dressed
Annoying,
woman standing
boring.
nearby. She appears to be rather troubled about something.
And it just takes too much time. So yeah. I don't really like them that much.
Greetings, friend. Lovely weather we're having today, don't you think?
Oh, hello. I suppose you're right. The weather today is quite lovely. If only those monsters out there would stop causing trouble.
It seems like every character included in the script has a certain amount of useful information to offer. If we keep asking questions, we might be able to get some good leads.
Oh, come now, don't be sad. Life is all about optimism. Oh, that reminds me. What did you have for breakfast this morning?
Why did she ask about breakfast?
I don't
What?
think that's the kind of question we're supposed to ask.
Nothing turns a frown upside down like good food. How about some macarons? I could make you some.
You didn't even take cooking as one of your skill proficiencies.
That's not necessary, miss. Excuse me for saying this, but you don't
Not
really
doing
look
it.
like a chef.
Really, from the start of the
Besides,
fontaine.
I'm not really a fan of sweets.
So you're someone who barely smiles and doesn't like sweets. You're really starting to remind me of this one friend of mine. Hey! Did she just... me?
Florian must have broke character for a second.
This isn't getting us anywhere. Traveler, maybe you can think of something.
Maybe. I'd like you to do an insight check to see what's troubling her.
The results of insight checks aren't disclosed to the players, so I'll be the one consulting the fatometer.
Yes.
You recall all the lessons you've learned in your time and begin to carefully observe the woman's mannerisms. You notice that when she's quiet, she has an empty look in her eyes, as if her thoughts have drifted to a place far, far away. And when she speaks, she often subconsciously reaches out to touch the ring on her left hand.
Did something happen to your husband?
So you noticed. That's a little embarrassing. A horde of monsters suddenly appeared near the capital recently, so all the guards were dispatched to fight them.
Do you remember when those monsters appeared?
I'm not completely sure. All I know is that my husband was dispatched to fight them 3 days ago.
Do you know where he was sent?
Yeah, it already began.
It all happened so fast. When we said our goodbyes, he couldn't even tell me where they were sending him.
You have our thanks, friend. We'll find and defeat those monsters as soon as possible. We sincerely hope your husband will be able to return to your side soon.
Thank you.
Don't worry. We'll find him. Just try to remain optimistic and wait for good news.
Well,
don't
world
always get to
level
choose
9
what
is not
happens to
that
us.
hard.
But we do get to choose the little things, like what we eat and
Is it out
how we
of
respond
Zoom
to the things life
again?
throws our way. I hope that one day, you too will recognize the power of something as small and inconsequential as a delicious dessert.
I'll do my best. You bid farewell to the woman and continue your journey further into the city. As you venture further into the city, the streets appear largely empty. An elderly woman walks past. You see her shake her head as she puts away her wrinkled wallet. A nearby
Takato,
merchant folds his arms
did you finish
and gives
all
you a disdainful
quests?
look.
Or
You get
did
the
you
impression that he's someone who has long gotten used to the
not
sight
still
before him.
collect everything? Yeah, drop rate is much better, so that's definitely a good thing.
Although he doesn't seem very friendly, merchants are usually a good source of information, right?
Pardon me, sir. I'd like to ask a question if I may.
That depends. How much are you willing to pay?
How about this much?
Why did they put a girl to...
What do you take me for? Some lowly beggar? You
Why
can't even buy half
is
an onion with
woman
that amount.
taking his voice
Surely
and
an onion
his...
can't be that expensive.
He looks like a
Right?
bodybuilder.
What do you know? War is nearly upon us. Everything costs...
Oh,
Okay, I
what a
cannot
nasty
listen to
guy.
him.
Maybe we shouldn't even bother talking to him.
But he still might have information we need. Traveler, can you think of something?
A performance? I've never played a role-playing game like this before, but even I can tell that suggestion is pretty far-fetched. Is a performance check really going to help here?
I'm not really sure.
Alright.
I don't know what I'm doing.
By the harbor's grace, a lone boat lies in rest. Let the moon give chase, for here begins our quest. In the dark of shadow, our heroes seek to find where creatures born of evil.
Well, you're
weave
too
their
far
grand
from
design.
finishing absolutely everything,
Watch the
so
road does stand.
don't worry.
Such is our hunter's plight.
To get to
Yet with sword and
AR-60
courage in hand, they march
even
forth to
half
pierce
a
the
year,
night.
it is really not a big deal. It's kinda too easy.
I don't recall asking for a bardic song. Don't expect me to give you any coin. But if you meant what you sang, and you are indeed some kind of hunter, then by all means, please, go out and kill those monsters for us. Those monsters are camped outside the city, and they've been destroying all our trade routes. We have limited reserves within the city, so if this continues, we're all gonna be in big trouble.
Wait.
And
You're saying
Naruto,
no one has
why
put a
don't you
plan
have
in
a
place
count
to
on
distribute
Hoylab just
supplies
because
or
of
maintain
the
order?
map, the Tevat
We could all
interactive map?
starve, and those
You will
nobles
have
in the palace wouldn't even
a
break a sweat.
possibility to
Who
collect
knows?
all chests.
Maybe they've been in cahoots with the monsters all along.
Anyways, in
concerning.
half a year, it is possible
Yeah,
to get
alright, I
to
think
the
I've said more than
AR-60
enough.
just because of
Be
too
on your
many
way now.
quests now,
Got it.
and because of
thank
so
you,
many
sir.
chests and
Don't mind
puzzles that
him
we
for
have.
now.
So yeah.
He just doesn't have enough taste to appreciate your art.
No. I was just thinking about how those nobles must be so cold-hearted. It's like they don't care about their people at all.
How do you mean it is easy while using YouTube?
Should we try to go somewhere with more people?
Oh, how about the city square? Follow me.
Before you lies the city's
Wait a
central
second, where
square.
is Fontaine?
You see a man with
Where
a
is
slightly
Fountain? Not
anxious look
Fontaine,
on his
oh god.
face, pacing
Where is
back
Fountain?
and forth, his head hanging low. He doesn't seem to notice your approach. Still immersed in his own thoughts, he shakes his head and lets out a long sigh.
This guy seems promising enough. Maybe I can get some information out of him.
No, God, it's not the same
Hello,
Naruto.
sir. Is there anything I can do to help you?
Wait, you're...
Yeah, you just log in into the
I'm-
Hoylab. Anyways, Naruto,
Oh, dear goodness!
there's
you're-
so many
you're a
benefits
Marshose
from
hunter.
having it.
You recognize us?
I mean, I don't care about
Ah,
60
are
Primo
you
Gems for
One of the people who wrote the
for
commission letter?
30 days. It's kind of
Yes,
stupid
yes.
as a
Oh,
reward.
I didn't expect you to actually come.
But when
Oh,
it
what
comes
great
to
news.
the
The city is
collecting
saved.
chests and finishing
happened to that?
puzzles,
Alas,
well,
we once lived
believe me,
comfortable,
it's a
carefree
good
lives.
thing.
This city
And
used to
I
be
use
free
it
of
all the
monsters.
time, so
The first Marashose
everything
hunter,
is
Cassiodor, the
completed
Golden
to the
Hunter. He was the
100%
one who
just
drove
because
them
of
back.
that.
However, monsters have once again surrounded the city. Perhaps the seal that
Easier
kept them at bay
and
has lost its
faster
power.
as well.
Or perhaps an evil sorcerer has been meddling in our affairs. All I know for sure is that their return has stripped the city of any chance at peace.
Are there not enough soldiers to drive them out?
Come
It's
on,
not
we
a
don't
question of
need
numbers.
soldiers, we
The
don't
guards simply
need
have no
army,
idea how
I
to deal
have
with them.
novelette.
Most people my age have never even seen one of the monsters, much less been trained to fight
Let
against
me
them.
just go and fight them.
What's worse, many of us don't even know the history of the Marashose hunters anymore. When I was a child, though, my grandfather would tell me stories about how the Marashose hunters drove back the monsters. So, on the off chance that something might come of it, I decided to reach out to you. To be perfectly honest, I was starting to think all those stories were just tall tales. But now that I've seen you in person, I finally know that it was true!
Well, you can rest easy, friend. The righteous and formidable Marashose hunters are on the case.
The man is touched by your determination and resolve. His eyes begin to well with tears of relief.
Still, if we are going to hunt the monsters, we need to know
Yeah,
where
a
to
lot of
find them.
fan arts
Can
as
you
well.
give us any leads?
All I know is that the area outside the city is dangerous. I'm afraid I can't point you toward a specific location. Oh, although, if you leave the capital through the main gate and follow the road, you should run into a group of guards. They might know more about where to find the monsters.
I see. We'll go look for them then.
All right, be careful. Oh, and one last thing. The monsters outside the city are just part of the problem. There are evil sorcerers inside the city as well, so be on your guard.
Nice!
They're actively working with the monsters.
At least something
and have corrupted the
interesting.
court ministers with malicious magic. They're the reason why, even inside the city, everything has been a giant mess. Even one of our kindest ministers has turned into a boorish and unreasonable figure, interested in nothing but enacting laws that exploit the people. Who knows how much longer we'll be able to go on like this.
Talk about being stuck
I
between
mean,
a rock
if you
and a
don't
hard
want
place.
to complete absolutely everything,
I feel
it is
bad for him.
fine. But
Maybe
hey.
we should try to cheer him up?
Yeah, Furina could sing a song.
Like, now?
Yeah,
Is this
why
really
not?
the right time?
Why
I
not?
appreciate your kindness, but for now, it's more important to focus on the crisis at hand. Brave hunters, I leave the future of this kingdom to you.
After we are done with the quest, maybe I can spend 10 more minutes on the artifact collecting, so...
If I understood correctly, there are currently
We'll
two
see.
problems in the kingdom that need solving, right?
Exactly. We need to defeat the monsters outside the city and take down the evil sorcerer stirring up trouble from within.
But which problem should we tackle first?
Well, this seems like a good moment for a break. Take some time and discuss what you want to do. Let me know when you've made your decision.
I really didn't expect the people in the city to keep us at arm's length like that. I totally thought the hunters would be treated like heroes.
Well, Clarence said the script took cues from the real history of Fontaine, right? Maybe the real-life Marashose hunters were also treated like that.
I wouldn't say it's a perfect representation of history, but there are
Well,
definitely
they're
some
playing the
similarities.
game,
Would you
and
like to hear more
inside
about
of
it?
that game,
Sure.
they have the...
As long as it doesn't spoil anything in the script. You've brought
Um,
up bits and pieces of the hunter's history before,
Inside
but
of
it was
that
all in
game, they
passing.
have some kind of
Paimon
quests
wants
that
to
they
know
need
too.
to
The
do.
hunters were super powerful, right? Were they all
You see,
from
they
a
need
special
to
line of
defeat the
supernatural beings or
sorceress,
something? Kind of like the
who is
yokai,
controlling
Inazuma?
monsters, and those
No.
monsters are
All
attacking
Marashose
absolutely
hunters
everyone
were
in the
ordinary
city.
mortal fighters. The only thing that set them apart were the special sword techniques passed down over the centuries.
Huh? So you mean anyone could become a Marashose hunter?
In theory, yes. All you would need to do is survive the rigorous training and master the swordsmanship techniques required to fight the monsters. Still, most people dropped out at the early stages, and others called it quits the minute they saw a monster in person. To become a hunter, you must be strong in both body and mind.
What kind of monsters did the hunters fight exactly? Oh, and the evil sorcerer the script mentions. Did they exist in real life too?
The land of Fontaine once played host to an ancient dynasty known as Remuria. After that dynasty fell, monsters began to appear, intent on obstructing humans from establishing a new social order. One of the ancient sorcerers of Remuria used his power to assemble a formidable army of golems. He sought to use that force to establish himself as king.
Yeah, we are missing
Now,
them,
wait a second.
definitely.
Don't tell me that guy was the inspiration for the evil sorcerer in the script. We still haven't found any in-game information on him yet. So, why don't you talk about someone else for now?
Well, I wasn't planning on going into anything.
But
you
hey,
won't be
they
able to
will
find out in
join.
the game.
That's
But if
definitely.
you want me to talk about something else,
Also,
then
we have two
how
more
about Cassiodor, the
story
Golden
quests,
Hunter? Or
and
Adiria, the ex-Hunter
then
Wait, but
we
those
will
people are all from
upgrade
a super long
absolutely
time ago.
everyone to triple
did you read all
eight
this,
and
Claire?
some of the characters
my
to the
master.
triple nine. We will spend
master?
over
You mean
25
Miss
million
Petronia?
mora. So I'm still waiting for
Someone you know?
that.
Absolutely.
After I'm done with
Miss
all of
Petronia
this,
and my father were good friends.
maybe I
Back in the
will
day, she would often
delay
bring
it a
Clorand over to
little
play,
bit,
but
just a little
then-
bit, because I
let's
want
not
to
get off
collect
topic.
as much mora as possible.
Anyway,
so
back to what I was
I'm
saying.
going to try
responding
to
to
spend a
Ajiria's
little
call,
bit more
a
time
number of warriors
on
followed Cassiodor
collecting
into battle against the monsters.
absolutely
This
everything
group of
from the
warriors,
Natlana
under
regions
Cassiodor's
and
leadership,
finishing
became known
all
as the
the
Marechaussee
quests
Hunters. Yet,
and collecting,
as
you
Fontaine
know,
entered an era
chests
of
from
peace,
puzzles and just
their
from
work gradually
fighting
became
and
obsolete.
everything else.
the Marechaussee Phantom, originally an association made up of hunters, eventually came to be predominantly comprised of Melusines.
Ah, I see. That explains why most of the people in the script have forgotten the hunters or think of them as nothing more than a legend.
Is that really a bad thing, though? It can get tough always being the one shouldering everyone's expectations.
Depends on who you ask, I suppose. If the name of the organization no longer commands respect, investigative work is bound to suffer.
Speaking of investigations, which problem should we tackle first? Monsters or evil sorcerer?
I vote monsters. That's the main
Yeah,
duty
monsters,
of the hunters, right?
because
We can
we
come back to
still
the
do not
sorcerer
know
later.
who the sorcerer is.
Well said, Miss Farina. Plus, if the sorcerers really are the masterminds behind this whole thing, defeating the monsters could give us some clues on their intentions as well.
What about you, partner? What do you think?
The sorcerer is important, but hey,
It's decided then.
we need to take down
All right.
monsters.
After some discussion, you decide to turn around and head out of the city.
Alright, the loading screen again.
Let's take a look around, like that guy said.
That guy!
Outsiders, halt!
Who's there?
An armored man approaches you. He has a tall, muscular build and a determined expression in his eyes. Just one look, and you can tell he's fought in his fair share of battles. Although he's trying his best to conceal his current state, his uneven gait and the sweat dripping down his forehead make it obvious that he's been wounded and is in serious pain. I'm the captain of the guard. I saw you sneaking around the city earlier, so I'll only ask this once. State your purpose, or it's off to the dungeons for the lot of you.
Wow, it's been a while since someone's been this suspicious of us.
I
Yup.
said talk, not whisper between yourselves.
Have you ever heard of the Marechaussee Hunters?
Marechaussee hunters? Ha! That fairy tale, you mean? What, you expect me to believe you're one of them?
Yes. Yeah, let's do the medicine check. I don't know.
Using your knowledge of medicine, you're able to deduce that the injury on his calf was a monster's doing, and the wound has already begun to fester.
Yeah, they didn't make
As
it
you-
I'm a
in
doctor
the
by
story that...
Please, let me redress your wound. You don't have to suffer like this.
The man appears somewhat disgruntled at
speaking?
having been exposed. He allows you to apply
Anyways,
a poultice of specialized medicine to the wound.
Yes,
Oh,
they
right.
didn't make
Guess you
anyone
lot might actually be real Marachose
have
hunters
any,
after all.
you know,
In
reaction
any case,
to the
you've successfully
Furina's
treated my
saving.
wound. So,
So yeah.
what do you want to know?
Do you know where we can find the monsters or the other guards who are fighting them?
He informs you of the various locations where monsters have appeared. He looks in that general direction with a pained gaze, as if a thin, invisible thread is pulling on his wound. Some of our new recruits have never even dealt with a petty thief, and now they're out there fighting monsters. If it weren't for this cursed leg.
Oh, please, sir. Don't get too worked up. You need to focus on your recovery. Just leave the monsters to us. We're Marachose hunters after all.
Hearing you say that, a glimmer of hope flashes in his eyes. But it disappears almost as quickly as it came. Those monsters aren't easy to deal with. But if you insist on going, I won't stop you either. I just hope all the guards will be able to come back to their families alive.
Am I able to
wish
use
you the
my
best of luck.
characters, not the trial ones, please? 3, 2, 1.
Based on what the captain said, the monsters should be right up ahead. Let's go. Hopefully we're not too late.
As you approach the battlefield, you see numerous people lying by the side of the road. They appear to be dressed like guards. Their faces are filled
Yeah,
with
Novelette
desperation
doesn't have
and
any
terror.
reactions.
Some are screaming and cursing in vain, as if still trying to banish the monstrosities they saw from their minds. A few of the wounded look up at you in shock and disbelief. Quick, leave this place. Turn around and don't look back, they yell.
That's not going to help. Okay. Novelette did understand it just because he went to the Fossilor and he heard what she had to say.
This is the place he mentioned, right?
You see
And
broken
that's
iron
only
swords
reason.
scattered all around you, and all the signs point to one thing. A truly devastating battle just...
Be on your guard, everyone. The monsters might still be around.
Before you can finish your sentence, you hear rustling sounds from the surrounding bushes. The monsters have emerged. They close in on you without fear. You get the impression...
A little help here.
Your battle round begins. Now.
Why do we have... Why do we have Inazuma's monsters here in the...
Let the world collide!
Step right up. A round of applause.
Constant?
The next battle round begins now.
That's the way.
Water jet!
The monsters
Not
let
that
out a
hard.
terrifying roar of anger and resentment before dissipating into thin air.
Oh, thank goodness it's over.
We're lucky
Not
the
it's,
Marachose Hunter class
not
came with all
is
those
that
preset skill points.
Hard, you
Otherwise, we would have been in some real trouble.
I never knew the photometer even determines the amount of damage you inflict. If you get unlucky, isn't it just game over right then and there?
Huh? That's part of the fun. The uncertainty of fate is what gives these games their appeal.
Just as you begin to celebrate your victory, a suspicious lump on the ground catches your attention.
A suspicious lump.
I walk up to it, crouch down, and begin to carefully examine it. I've still got my right glove on, so it should be fine for me to touch it, right?
As
No.
you investigate the mound, you discover that the exposed portion appears to be made of wood. It was previously obscured by the large form of the monsters. With the monsters gone, the small protrusion now awaits your discovery, poking out of the ground like a shy flower bud.
Whoa, it's a treasure chest!
let's dig it up. Yay, we will get one Primo Gem.
With everyone's help, you
Unfortunately,
successfully
yeah, they
excavate the
acted
wooden
like
chest
that.
from the ground. Even without opening it, you can tell from the mora and jewels scattered around the chest that it must contain quite the fortune.
Makes sense. We worked hard for this. Let's open it and we can share what's inside.
I can understand your excitement, Paimon, but think about it. Doesn't it seem like there are people out there who need this treasure more than us?
Yeah. Think about all the people suffering in the capital. Or all those guards who got hurt fighting the monsters. Wouldn't it be better if we gave the treasure to them?
Wait, is that how it works? Paimon thought since we were the ones to dig it up, we could just take it for ourselves.
Well, let's put it this way. Any decision you make during a role-playing game can impact the future course of the story.
But would the people really believe us? It's hard enough for us to prove we're Marcia Say hunters. What if they think we procured the treasure illegally? They might get even more suspicious
Come
of
on,
us.
don't call yourself
It's
an
definitely
idiot.
something we should consider. Maybe we can come up with an explanation in advance.
Well, if donating it could cause that much trouble, why don't we use it to buy some gear and fill up on good food?
Looks like you're facing a difficult choice once again. Well, it's getting late. Why don't we call it a day for now?
Wow, where did the time go?
I'm not sure if it's because I'm having so much fun with you all or because the story is particularly enticing, but I feel like I could almost keep going.
Here, here. Ooh, how about we play through the night?
I'm not sure I'll have enough energy for that.
Yeah, that won't work for me either. Lynette will give me an earful if I get home too late.
Wait,
I
guys, you
understand how
sleep?
you feel, Navia, but we have to change venues for the next part of the story anyway.
Huh? Another location?
There's a special note for the GM at the end of this section that says to proceed to an indoor set for the next part of the script.
Whoa, they really pulled out all the stops for this new script.
Well, even if we end the game for the day, we can still stay a little longer and hear Cloran finish her story, right? Paimon wants to hear more about the history of the hunters.
Something tells me you just want to finish the free desserts before we break for the day.
Yep.
That's just a coincidence, okay? Besides, to Paimon, not finishing free food feels even worse than having to buy her own. And anyway, Paimon really does want to hear more about Cloran's master.
Well,
If the story doesn't have a happy ending, it's okay not to finish it.
It's nothing. I appreciate the concern, but it's all in the past. It won't do any harm to share these things now. My earliest memories are of living with Master. According
I
to
don't
her,
know,
she saved
Takato.
me from certain people of ill
It
repute.
is what it is. It
My
ended
birth
like
parents
that,
had left me
and
behind
it is
some time
over.
before that.
What a heavy beginning for a life story.
They made it like that, and that's it.
Master was a fascinating individual.
The most important
If
thing is that
inexperienced in the ways of
Furina
raising
is
children.
okay now.
My first ever
and
toy was a short
that
sword.
we are done with the prophecy.
Although I suppose it wasn't so much a toy as something Master removed from her waist and handed to a noisy child in need of distraction.
Oh wait, so she handed an actual sword to a child?
Of course I did. I cut my palm and bled quite a lot. See, that's what you get for not holding the sword properly, she told me. She then crouched down next to me and said, "Give me your hand. I'll teach you to bandage this wound." After the...
Excuse me for
Yes.
asking this, Clorand, but how old were you exactly when all this happened?
Probably around, 3, give or take.
3? Isn't that when most kids are still struggling to hold a fork?
As I said, Master was rather inexperienced in the ways of raising children. She believed trial and error was the best way to teach a child what they're capable of.
I'm not so sure this is a question of experience.
I didn't see anything wrong with her ways at the time. And anyway, children don't get to choose how they're raised. Oh,
Yeah,
she did
Takato,
bring
I
me back
know,
a pet from
I
Liyue
know.
once. It was a Geovishap hatchling.
A Geovishap hatchling? For a pet?
What she said was this: make sure to get along, you two. If you really can't agree on something, just settle it with a fight. Whoever loses is the real pet.
And how old were you when this happened?
5.
5.
Well, did you win?
No, I lost.
So you're saying you actually became the Geovishap's pet?
Yes, but only for a week. By the end of that week, I defeated it in combat, and we've shared a cordial relationship ever since.
That really doesn't sound like the kind of childhood someone should have.
Later on, I gradually understood that Master most likely didn't know any other way to raise a child. She was a Marashosei hunter, but I never heard her bring up her own
Going
parents.
out of Zoom 50
Thanks to
times
her, I
already.
learned how to navigate the forest by the age of 6, and could hunt monsters in the wild by myself the year after that. Even though the training she subjected me to was strict, she always made sure to take me traveling when she had the time. We met many of her friends during those days. That was also how I met Mr. Callis and his family.
I still remember the first time we met. You were too scared to join our picnic and hid behind Ms. Petronia the whole time.
I still hadn't really met many children my age at that time.
After that, though, you started coming over a lot.
I had a lot of fun during those days.
I enjoyed them too. We tried to pretend like we never heard anything, but you nearly let it slip that one time.
Protector of justice. Oh, wait, you mean that vigilante hero from 20 years ago? The one who was always active at night?
Yep, that would be her. She often would put on a black cloak and go out at night. I never knew where she went or what she was doing. Until, like Navia said, we overheard the truth from Mr. Callis that night.
20 years ago, huh? I still remember the guards leaving all kinds of witness reports about her on Nervalette's desk.
My apologies.
Oh, there's no need to apologize. You had nothing to do with it. And anyway, everything she did was for a good cause. Although, calling herself the Protector of Order was a bit much. Especially when she deliberately operated outside the law.
Huh? When did the Protector of Justice become the Protector of Order?
Oh, she had a bunch of code names. Later on, she probably got sick of answering those questions and decided to stick to just 2. The Protector of Justice and the Protector of Order.
That sounds like her, all right. I bet she forgot which of the 2 she'd use by the time she got back each night.
Well, she certainly sounds like a fascinating individual.
It's true. I always wanted to become like her.
But...
She suddenly disappeared the night I turned 10 years old.
Disappeared?
10!
What happened?
I
God.
have no idea. She didn't even leave a note. That night, I was celebrating my birthday at Navia's house.
Great.
Master never came to pick me up. When she still didn't appear after a few days, I went to Mr. Callis's house to ask about her whereabouts. But he only shook his head.
Papa probably didn't know either. I know he sent a few people to investigate the matter in secret, but they never found any credible leads.
Don't worry, I understand. To be just like how, when a litter of kittens...
Were you upset, Clorette?
I was at first, but not anymore.
Well, despite everything, you still managed to follow in her footsteps and become the greatest champion duelist in all of Fontaine. You're practically a living symbol of law and justice.
I suspect my position would be far too by the books for her. Master always did whatever she pleased. But you're right. I suppose I do take after her in some ways.
Who knew Clorande had such an interesting past? I never had the chance to ask her about it before. And I wonder if oh no. Judging by the atmosphere, Clorande and Navia are probably thinking something similar.
Well, anyway, Would you look at the time? It's getting dark.
I had a great time today, Miss Clarant.
Anytime.
The script was good, but I've got to say, your childhood stories were even better. Hey, you should tell us more about that fight against the Geo-Bishop sometime. Maybe your master was onto something.
You could be right.
What does she mean, onto something? I certainly don't know any 5-year-olds who
Why
want to
does
fight a bishop in their
Furina
spare
ask
time.
herself so many
Guess
different
I'll head
things
back
all
as
the
well.
time?
I need to save my energy if I want to continue enjoying the story tomorrow.
You're that excited to hear about my fight with the bishop?
I was talking about the
Naruto winning the
script.
whole chat. Okay, and now we need to wait for tomorrow. Okay, I already thought it's going to be 2 days. 8 o'clock. There we go. Come on, faster, 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 faster.
Let's go meet up with the group.
Oh god, all the way to the another side of the map. Interesting. Just to let you know how easy is it. Well, there we go. That easy. Right. Yeah.
Looks like everyone's here. Now, before we begin, why don't we finish
Only
where we left off
Naruto's.
yesterday? There was an important decision to be made, yes? I'll pour everyone a cup of tea.
Is that really the most important part, though, Clarant? Heavy walls, cold railings, dim lights.
I admire the work put into the set. Still, it's obvious the scriptwriter has never paid a visit to the fortress of Meripede.
So the set is going to be a part of the script?
Unfortunately, that is something I can neither confirm nor deny.
Anyone think Clarant's smile is starting to look kinda scary?
Well, whatever happens, we'll just have
Not
to push
really,
on.
but okay.
But first, we should really figure out what to do with this treasure. If we're worried about arousing suspicion because of our identity, why don't we give
Yeah,
ourselves
kinda
a different
slow,
name?
I do agree.
Just like Clarant's
Especially
master did.
gliding. Gliding is just too slow. I
it
hate
might be
it.
better to keep a low profile. As long as we're helping people, it doesn't matter who we are or what we're called.
Staring at me won't get you anywhere. Or did you want some more tea?
Come on, Naruto.
Oh, Paimon's good. Thanks. Why aren't you saying anything, Navia? Wait, what's that next to you?
Oh, this is the short sword Cloran mentioned last night. I found it.
Huh. I'm surprised you managed to track it down after all this time.
Well, I made sure to take good care of it, considering the circumstances in which you gave it to me. Of course I had to keep it safe.
Takato, it's
Anyway,
okay. Just
where were we?
leave him be.
Oh, right. I was just thinking about all the potential ways for us to break out of prison. We could dig a tunnel, or try to bribe the guards.
Wait, we haven't been thrown into prison yet, have we?
Well, it's only a matter of time. It pays to be prepared.
Alright, Paimon's made up her mind. Let's just give the treasure away. Paimon may have wanted to keep it, but if it's going to land us in prison somehow, Paimon will be too upset to enjoy her snacks.
Turns out Paimon cares more about snacks than treasure.
So, you reached an agreement? All right then, we can continue with the story.
Oh,
Yep.
and we'll collect all the scattered pieces of treasure on the ground as well.
All right. You collect the treasure and make your way back to the capital with your bag of loot in hand. The The city is still shrouded in a gloomy, oppressive atmosphere, but your spirits are surprisingly high. In places where sunlight struggles to reach, you generously share your wealth with the children, the elderly, and the poor in urgent need of help.
Thank you, kind soul.
The elderly woman's look of gratitude follows you as you walk away, her eyes never leaving your back until you move entirely out of sight.
She's probably trying to tell us to speed this up. We need to hurry up so we can address the sorcerer problem.
Should we go find that man again at the square? He seemed like a pretty responsible guy. I'm sure he knows the people here far better than us.
Oh, good idea!
Just as you start to make way to the square, intent on finding the man again, there's a voice.
And what did I get? You didn't
Please
even
wait,
show
distinguished guests. Several strange guards suddenly call out to you. They run forward to meet you and proceed to
come
politely
on.
pay their respects.
Greetings, gentlemen. Are we being invited for afternoon tea?
Surely you jest, my lady. That would not be our place. It is His Excellency the King who requests to meet with you. Please come with us.
Wow. Come
Do you
on.
think this could be a trap?
Well, we have to investigate the court at some point, right? Meeting the king himself would be a fantastic opportunity to do that.
I say we go for it. If something happens, we'll just turn the whole place upside down.
That sounds a little intense.
Yep.
After a quick discussion, you nod to the guards and agree to follow. They lead you all the way to the audience hall of the palace. Gilded tables line both sides of the hall. The space itself is adorned with all manner of expensive antiques, glass shelves, and silver candlesticks. The items appear quite ordinary in size and dimension, yet their presence somehow makes the emptiness of the hall feel even more surreal and ominous.
Wow, it's so luxurious!
The elderly king, clad in a magnificent robe, sits upon the deep crimson throne before you. He wears above his head a majestic crown, with a gemstone the size of a bird's egg set right at the very front. As you observe it, you see a complex pattern of light reflect off its surface.
Come on, Naruto, really?
A man dressed in dark clothes, likely a minister, shields his mouth with his hands and bends down to whisper a few words to the king. After a moment, he lowers his hands and stands back up. His gaze shifts to fixate on your group, but he does not move from his place at the king's side.
The king does not appear entirely aware of his surroundings. The man by his side, though. We should keep a close eye on him.
The king remains still and says nothing. The minister is the one who speaks. Esteemed guests, allow me to thank you for coming to our faraway kingdom. Unfortunately, His Majesty the King finds himself quite exhausted from work. So please allow me, his Prime Minister, to welcome you in his stead. I've heard tell that your group, the Marechaussee Hunters, used your exceptional ability with the sword to repel the monsters near the capital. Such a great deed deserves to be rewarded. However, seeing that I was not fortunate enough to observe such a feat with my own eyes, you'll forgive me for seeking to verify the truth by speaking to you myself.
Well, we've got nothing to hide. You brought us here to talk, right? So we'll...
Oops. Skipping Paimon.
The golem's blades were so powerful, they could cut... Well, that was enough to...
Your account does indeed match those of the survivors. Since you were the ones who defeated the monsters, that must mean you are also in possession of the treasure they stole?
Well, we did take the treasure, but...
Shut up!
How did he know about the treasure?
Then I must ask that you return it at once. It belongs to the kingdom.
Wait, but didn't you just say that our great deed deserved a reward? Shouldn't the treasure be considered a part of that?
Yes, yes, that was indeed what I said. But you seem to have forgotten a very important distinction. Only that which is freely given by the king can be considered a reward. Taking the rightful wealth of a kingdom without said permission, on the other hand, is a crime.
But that's completely unreasonable.
Yeah, that makes no sense! If it weren't for us, the treasure would still be buried underground somewhere!
Maybe so, yet the fact remains. You tried to dispose of the treasure without reporting it to the court and without receiving permission, yes?
But how can we know whose the treasure
What?
is?
No answer? Surely you're not insinuating that you, a group of legendary marechaussee hunters, sought to take the treasure for yourselves?
Well, what about the king?
Clad in his magnificent robe, the king remains seated, with his hands resting on either side of the throne. His posture is rigid and unmoving. He stares forward with an empty look in his eyes, completely unmoved by the events before him.
From the look of things, could the Prime Minister be the evil sorcerer?
Yep, that could be
Both
the case.
King and the Prime Minister have fallen under the evil sorcerer's control.
Also
I would like to observe
possibility,
the
but
number
hey.
of guards stationed in the hall.
The guards in the palace appear fully armed, their expressions solemn. Sensing the tense atmosphere in the room, they stand at the ready, each with a hand placed upon the hilt of their sword, as if prepared to draw their weapons and surround you at a moment's notice.
Well, there goes my plan to turn the whole place upside down, I guess.
It appears we've been visited by nothing more than a group of ill-intentioned imposters. What a pity. Guards, take them away and throw them in the dungeons. Before I decide your fate, however, I must first determine whether you have any accomplices outside the court.
Can't we try to slip away? Or maybe start some kind of riot?
But if we try to fight the guards right now...
Don't worry. At least we figured out who's behind all this. Let's just play it by ear. If you're scared, Paimon, just hold my hand.
You can have my hand too.
Thanks, you guys.
You allow yourself to be led away by guards surrounding you on both sides. It's only when you begin to feel drops of water falling from the dungeon ceiling and smell the stench of death and decay all around you that you finally realize you've stepped into a completely different world. Stay here, and don't try anything funny. The guards lock the cell door and leave without looking back.
Wait, sir!
Your voice echoes through the dark hall, but the only response you receive is the sound of water dripping from the ceiling.
No! What should we do now?
Carve out a new path of fate with our own two hands, of course. I draw my weapon.
You reach toward your waist, but find nothing there. You now recall that your weapons were confiscated before the guards locked you in the cell. The bag of treasure along with them.
What about that knife I hid in my boot?
When did you hide it in there?
When I was thinking about digging a tunnel.
Rejected. You failed to inform the GM of this course of action. Moreover, the guards would have conducted a thorough search before throwing you in prison.
And the keys to the cell aren't anywhere to be seen?
Correct. You don't even feel a lock hole on the cell door.
Oh, well, there goes all our plans.
Indeed.
Huh? Why are you the one saying indeed?
Because that statement holds true for me as well. This is where the script ends.
What?
But that's a terrible ending!
Generally speaking, this should be the point where the scriptwriter gives the players some kind of hint, or gives the GM some kind of code for how to move forward.
I mean, maybe they just really wanted us to be immersed in the feeling of being in prison? Like, they'll only show us the way out once we've grown truly and utterly desperate?
That is a possibility.
If only there were desserts and tea in real prison. Oh, wait, guess that's kind of how the Fortress of Meripede works if you're lucky.
Oh,
Yes.
before I forget, Navia, the short sword you had with you earlier. I took a closer look, and the craftsmanship doesn't appear to resemble anything from this era. If I remember correctly, that style was last in vogue several hundred years ago.
Wait, Cloran said that sword used to belong to her master, right? Does that mean her master has been alive that long?
I doubt it.
Maybe.
The way she went about things often made her seem childish more than anything. I'd say the sword was most likely an heirloom passed down over time.
Hang on. A precious heirloom passed down to you by your master. And you gave it to me just like that? You weren't worried I might lose it?
Master
Good
left
night,
many things to
Naruto.
me when she disappeared.
Thank you for
There was
joining.
the sword, an old key, and a good amount of junk she probably just didn't want to take with her. I gave you the sword back then because I didn't want our friendship to end.
Wait, when did this happen exactly?
After the duel between Mr. Callis and myself.
Before that, Clorand would have meals with us and even stay over at the Spina some days. She was on great terms with Papa as well. After the duel, though, there was a period of time where we simply didn't know how to face each other. She entrusted this sword to me.
It's
and
8
never came
p.m. in my country.
We were
so
both sad and conflicted whenever I looked at this sword. I couldn't help but wonder. Back then, it felt like I hadn't just lost a father.
No one can change the past.
Yep, you're
I'm sorry, you two.
Think nothing of it. No one here is at.
I just keep it a little bit because it's not like it is actually that much of the interesting part, because we know absolutely everything already. Come on.
Looks like the next part of our script is here.
Perfect timing. The situation was really starting to get desperate.
From
Yes.
Corinne's face, I really can't tell if it's good news or bad news.
Maintaining a poker face takes true skill.
Water continues to drip from the ceiling. In this lightless dungeon, you lack a reliable way to tell how much time has passed. Eventually, you get used to the unpleasant odor of straw, mold, and rust, and find yourselves alternating between fits of drowsiness and despair. Suddenly, you hear footsteps outside the door.
Heads up, everyone. Someone's coming.
Gather close, everyone, and keep your voice down.
Oh, is that the guy that we saved? Ooh, look at the team that I have.
Who are you?
I work as a guard in these dungeons, but my true identity is the same as your own. I'm also a Marashose hunter.
Huh?
Shh. I've already sent away the other guards, but if we make too much noise...
I understand, but how can we be sure we can trust you?
The king has issued a formal decree. In light of the irrefutable proof of your crime, you're to be executed before tomorrow's sunrise.
Executed? We barely did anything!
Monsters appearing at the same location as the treasure. Could this entire thing have been a trap?
There will be time for speculation once
Yep,
we're out of here.
It could be.
As for my identity, I have no way to prove that to you just yet. Infiltrating the capital was difficult, and finding a chance to speak with you has taken a lot out of me. I could go on, but I think we can all agree that now is not the time for details.
True.
Have you seen our weapons anywhere, sir?
Don't worry, I brought them with me. They're just behind the door. Still, these weapons alone won't be enough to defeat the true enemy behind the scenes. His faction is too powerful. The guards are all under his control, and he's even stationed a number of golems in various rooms throughout the palace. To defeat him, you must find a secret vault. It is said that within that vault, the Marashose hunters of the past left behind a treasure with the power to defeat the sorcerer.
You're not coming with us?
No, I'll remain in the dungeons to deal with the guards. I'll try my best to distract them so they don't go after you. As long as my identity is not revealed, I'll be able to aid you when the final battle comes.
In that case, please stay safe.
Thank you for your concern. I will do my utmost. As for the location of the vault, here, this map should lead you there.
Okay.
Got it.
All right, once I open the door, remember to stick close and refrain from making any noise. I'll lead you out of here as quickly as possible. You now have the chance to restore the honor and legacy of the Mara Shosei Hunters. So please, get out there and reclaim what's ours. And be sure to exercise caution.
With the help of the guard, you successfully escape the dungeons.
Come on, come on. Let's fast forward it just a little bit.
Wait, we didn't get to use our skills at all while we were in prison. Who knows when we're gonna get the chance to use that cool summon spell?
That is a pity, but we can only continue to move forward.
Okay. Some enemies to defeat as well. Or maybe we don't need to, but hey, we will take
Settle down.
just because.
Go on. This is where you fall.
Really, Arlecchino?
Silence.
I hate when she does absolutely no damage.
This should be the place marked on the map.
This bit of rock certainly looks suspicious.
Well, I'd say an investigation's in order then. Plus, if all else fails, we can just blow it up.
Wow, you really meant that.
Before you lies a serene stretch of open water, its surface shimmering a brilliant shade of sapphire blue.
Well, guess this means it's time for a swim.
And let's go. Oh yeah. I love the mechanic that you can just jump out of the water. That's so good.
Oh, what's the matter?
It's nothing. As you step into the cave, you find yourself in an eerily quiet space. Before you lies a narrow passageway that appears to trail off endlessly into the distance.
Okay.
Wow, this must be where the treasure is hidden.
But this door is blocking our way in. Huh. It almost looks like it's been here for quite some time.
Huh. What have we got down here?
A pattern on a stone door. That's something Master mentioned before.
Is something wrong, Clarant?
After a long, difficult journey, you finally arrive at the location indicated by your map. It appears to be an ancient site of some sort, where treasure likely awaits. Your surroundings are exceedingly quiet and serene, as if the secret that slumbers here has never once been disturbed. If you listen closely, you can almost convince yourself you can hear the sound of its calm, gentle breathing.
That description makes Paimon feel kinda bad for disturbing this place.
We're doing this for the sake of the people, to free them from the evil sorcerer. I say it's time for this treasure to once again see the light of day.
Lenny's right. We need to keep going. The next part of the story requires us to solve the puzzle, right?
Yes, that should be fine. Something feels off about all this. Guess I'll just have to improvise.
Yup. Do we have... Oh, we have the another one, and we have one more. Okay. Why is it not working?
I found something.
Found something here, too.
Okay, finally.
Same here.
Bow your head.
Come on. And there we go. Nice.
It worked.
Something just appeared. Some kind of new mechanism, maybe?
By
That's
solving the
just
puzzles,
a bag.
you prove yourselves worthy of inheriting the secrets of the past. At the end of each puzzle, you're rewarded with
With?
a key.
Okay,
Oh, it must be the key to the big door.
maybe.
This is one of the Marachose Hunter keys that are passed down from generation to generation. It is said that 4 keys in total are required to form the final, complete key. And it seems like we just collected 3 of them. That must mean...
Huh? What's wrong?
You hear a few strange noises. Suddenly, all the torches in the ruin go out at once.
Huh? What's going on? Did we fall into another trap?
For the
Probably.
sake of immersion, please close your eyes, everyone. Without the torches, the space is now completely dark, and you cannot see anything.
But Paimon can still see a little bit over here.
Paimon, just shut up.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Suddenly, you hear the sound of footsteps pierce through the darkness.
There's someone else here. Oh, this is so unsettling. I can't see anything.
I've been discovered then.
Wait,
You recognize the voice as belonging to the guard who led you to this place. It appears he now covets the treasure for himself, and has come to stake his claim.
Oh, so this is just part of the script. Then I can probably relax. Well, if we can't see anything, that means we can't fight to the fullest of our abilities. Should we retreat for now?
Nope.
Judging by the way he's holding his sword, he must be a real Marachose hunter. But this isn't part of the script.
Retreat? That's not the hunter way. If it's dark for us, then it's dark for him. We choose to fight.
Your choice is noted. Please keep your eyes closed until I tell you the torches have been relit. This battle will be in the dark.
You got it.
Well then, let us begin.
No, this is not funny. I thought
I'd like to try to hit him with my sword.
if we will
Your
have
strike-
the black
Is
screen
he
or
still
something.
standing? Couldn't.
is it over? Can we open our eyes now?
The enemy is strong and relentless, but the battle is nearing its end. The torches have not been relit.
What about now?
Final strike. Ha!
Well, did we get him?
Warm fire flickers across the walls once more. Your vision is now clear. In an impressive display of courage, the 4 of you successfully defeat the uninvited guest. That look in his eyes. It's like he became an entirely different person as soon as I defeated him.
Huh? Mr. Florian? Oh, wait. We're supposed to be role-playing. I should stay in character. Speak your name, guard. Why did you lead us here just to betray us? Is this treasure really more important to you than bringing peace to the kingdom?
What kingdom? What peace? Those were nothing but lies! I, Florian, am a true Marechaussee hunter, descended from hunters of ages past.
So he's also using his real name. Or, wait, was that the name of his character from the very beginning?
Then I'm even more confused. If you truly are a Marechaussee hunter, shouldn't you want to help us just like you said before? Shouldn't we fight together for the sake of the people?
What do you know? In this day and age, there's no glory to be had as a Marechaussee hunter.
What's that supposed to mean?
My skills were passed down to me by my father. We lived a life of obscurity in the remote wilderness. Still, he devoted everything he had to being a Marechaussee hunter. And what did he get in return? A life of poverty and pain. In a world that forgot all about him. When he died, not a single person came to mourn his passing. The Marechaussee hunters were the ones who saved this city. We're heroes. We deserved more recognition and respect than this.
Is he talking about how no one in the capital seems to remember the hunters and their legacy? I didn't expect the script to contain this level of social criticism.
So that's why you want to take the treasure for yourself?
If you already knew where the treasure was located, why didn't you just come down here and take it?
Because I still needed the final key.
Only a true Marechaussee hunter is capable of passing through this final door. As someone who sought to hurt others for his own gain, Florian lost that right long ago.
Okay, but what is this treasure anyway? We've got all the keys, right? So
You're sure you want to go in?
We've been talking about it for so long. Of course we want to see what's inside.
And we've already defeated Florian, right? So he won't try to take it from us anymore.
Pesky brats.
Watch yourself.
Then let's open the door together.
All right. Your choice of action is confirmed.
Okay, we come to the door and open it. Come on.
Before you, the door to the treasure, sealed and undisturbed for more than 100 years, finally swings open. You hear the shrill wail of the door hinge as it rotates for the first time after years of disuse. Almost like a sleeping giant letting out an extended yawn. You
It's open! Come on, let's go in! Paimon wants to see what's inside!
Ooh, me too!
Me tree.
ugh, uncovering hidden treasure is the most exciting part of adventuring.
A stone tablet? And some shabby weapons?
You call this a treasure vault? Looks more like an abandoned warehouse.
Yeah.
Maybe the troop ran out of
unfortunately.
budget at the end?
They provided a super immersive experience at the beginning only to drop the ball at the most important part. They could have at least filled this place with cardboard mora or something.
Wait, I get it now. Paimon, this is the real Marechaussee hunter treasure.
Huh?
This is it? The Marechaussee hunter treasure is just a stone slab and some broken swords? I can't believe it. I refuse to believe it!
Whoa, are you okay?
The Marechaussee hunter before you appears to suffer a serious mental breakdown. He needs to leave the room for a moment to collect himself. One of you seems to understand the significance of the treasure already. If the rest of you wish to follow suit, you may remain here in the meantime and explore your surroundings.
And let's see what do we have inside. And what about the weapon? Okay, nothing. Anyways, let's just continue. Let's go straight to the main part. I'm not going to talk with anyone at the tablet, so
how are you doing?
let's see.
What just happened?
Do you remember how you got here? Or what happened to your body just now?
I remember now. I brought you here because I wanted to... The explosives in the cave!
You mean these?
Huh? How did you...
I could tell something was off the moment I stepped into this cave, so I kept an eye out. I've already dismantled the whole thing.
So the strongest champion duelist in all of Fontaine saved the day once again. Guess I shouldn't be surprised. It would seem your skills as a Marechaussee hunter are as sharp as ever.
I deserve some answers, don't you think? Everything you said earlier sounded like the truth.
I don't know. The feelings about my father and the other Marechaussee hunters are real. It just wasn't fair. I was angry. I don't know when it started, but at some point, my anger came to completely...
But if the treasure was all you cared about, why plant all those explosives?
I can't remember. My head is a mess.
From your description, I suspect you were dealing with a devorator.
Devorator?
Oh, your master... your father, I mean.
No, I've heard of it. I'm just not sure why you suddenly... Wait, it can't be. The seal!
The seal?
My family has served as Marechaussee hunters for many generations. But the title and swordsmanship weren't the only things passed down over our line. There was a seal as well. My father instructed me to always watch over that seal and maintain it regularly. He said it had been passed down over a truly ancient age, and protecting it was our clan's most important duty. But I neglected that duty after he died.
The Devorator would be a formidable adversary for any mortal being, even ones as capable as the Hunters. If you lacked the power to completely destroy it, you could easily fall prey to its influence and corruption.
I heard it has the power to amplify the obsessions and desires in people's hearts, to the point where they overtake you entirely.
And yet, you were able to retrieve 3 of the 4 keys. If I remember correctly, each was entrusted to a respected and capable hunter. How did you manage it?
One of them belonged to my father. The second I stole from a different hunter. And the third... was one that I snatched while the person was on the way home from the tavern. I nearly died in that alley. I know just how strong you are.
How do you mean
it's as clear as day to
died?
everyone in Fontaine. I observed you from
like
dusk to dawn, but could never
were
find
so
any
close
opportunity
to
to
the
sneak
fight.
up on you. The only way I could think to obtain that last key was to lure you here using your hobby, and then... Oh, I get it now. That monster, it wanted to bury you here alongside the treasure.
I won't comment on anything else, but the script was good.
Well, I did pour my heart and soul into it. The stories my father used to tell me about the glory of the heroic Marechaussee hunters.
It's more than just a story.
Huh?
You're proud to be a hunter. You're still holding onto that part of yourself, no matter how small.
I have done so many despicable things. I have nothing to be proud of.
Then explain the purpose of the evil sorcerer in your story. Isn't he the true antagonist? The one who sought nothing but his own gain, and used the people as pawns to attain it?
But I've already tainted my sword. I no longer have any right to...
Wake up, Florian. Remember how you introduced yourself earlier. Do you really think the hunters acted out of a desire for honor and glory? Or to be loved and acknowledged by the people? You do not wield your sword for yourself, but to protect those you serve. Do you still not understand? Even after seeing the treasure for yourself?
Okay, anyways, the story is over. We will just skip it till
I
the
am
end.
a Marechaussee hunter. It's time for me to redeem... No,
I wouldn't be so quick to push aside the...
I know.
Good.
Because
Then
we've
come with
done
me,
with
and
the
help me
main
see the
part,
script.
and hey,
No, I mean...
Then we'll just have to keep writing
I
it.
really don't want
You mean-
to
Is that really
stay
so-
You wanna
20 more
I know what my
minutes
friend...
Then...
just because of some I will just say not interesting story part. I'm not going to say anything else that wouldn't sound so good. Anyways, I do believe that we can skip absolutely everything in
back.
10 minutes or something like that.
That took a while.
Ahem.
Or maybe there is something a little bit interesting.
After crossing swords with you and witnessing your courage in battle, I've rediscovered my true self and regained my pride as a Mara Shosei hunter.
Oh, do I smell a redemption arc?
I confess.
That little...
That's right. He's adept at...
Okay,
to be
not
perfectly
interesting.
honest, the treasure...
The names of all the Mara Shosei hunters from ages past and their weapons?
Wait, you already know?
Of course. Don't underestimate a veteran role player's exploration skills.
We just finished reading through the content of the stone
That tablet recorded the lives of some fascinating people. She inherited...
So, she was just like...
Oh,
Well, when you put it that way, I was working as an
Their lives were all so exciting. You could write so many cool books about their accomplishments.
Because they chose to be. To hunt monsters.
And this stone...
That's right. The only time they spoke...
so...
No wonder this place was so well hidden.
You regard the stone, the tablet prove their legacies shall...
Father... You...
His eyes are sincere.
I implore you,
Well,
Sounds good to me.
I have no objections, but... Mr.
Huh?
There's so many
What is-
texts at the
Gian.
end of this whole story, and I'm never going to understand why.
At first glance, these blades have...
So basically, take these with us, right?
I'll take this weapon, since it used to belong to Est.
Ah, good idea. I'll take Mr. Walter's bow then. From one archer magician to another.
Paimon's gonna pick a...
Paimon is going to pick up a weapon? No.
As you grip your weapons, you can almost feel the will of past hunters coursing through your being.
Mr. Florian, do you know where to find...
I was able to see his surroundings when our mind... We must be extremely careful. He's spent so long living among monsters that he's now taken the form of one. He will not be easily defeated.
Then why don't we explore some more and try to find some higher level gear?
Oh, no. We have to strike now. He was greatly weakened when I managed to break out of his control. If we let him rest, he might have time to escape.
I agree with Mr. Florian. We've got to act while we have the advantage. Don't forget, the people of the capital are counting on us.
Yeah, now that we've got a plan, there's no point in waiting. The longer this drags on, the worse it will be for everybody.
Yes, that's what's called... Yes, that's exact...
Alright, you...
Mr. Florian?
Of course.
Let's go and defeat the
We had
evil
to set up
sorcerer
so many scenes
and
today.
finish with this.
Finally, you decide to... As you walk away,
As I walk away, I'm almost done with this quest. Should that be the way that they wrote it or not?
finally, you arrive at the church Florian described. As you approach, an ominous aura surrounds you. You get the sense that your enemy is close at hand.
Oh, it's a squirrel!
This uneasy feeling seems so real.
Now, it is time for the final battle.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Florian, wait.
What's wrong?
I think you should... I don't think it's a...
That's exactly why I have to go. Yes. I intend to lure it into my body.
That's too risky.
Come on.
I understand. The Devorator will have... You're not like me. This is... something that I have to do. Consider it a duel.
Then, as a champion duelist, I hereby accept your request for a duel, and extend to you my most sincere regards. The battle is now upon us. Let the Devorator once again tremble under the blade of the Marechaussee hunters.
Okay. Are we just going to play as the Chlorant against that guy and that's it?
Huh?
So lifelike.
This foe is not invincible. You hold the treasure. The power to defeat it in your own 2 hands.
The treasure? You mean... The names! It's the Marechaussee hunters' names!
How are we supposed to...
You forget, Paimon? There's still one skill we saved until the very end.
Hunters fight not for fame, but to aid the people whenever they are summoned.
Walter the Marechaussee Hunter, master of 1,000 tricks, executioner of the Phantom Hunters, I call for aid!
Est, the Marechaussee Hunter, inheritor of Cassiodor's will, judge of the Shadow Hunters. Answer my call!
Petronia, protector of justice and order. The hunter I respect the most. Thank you for saving my friend, the best one I'll ever know. Please, lend us your strength!
We have come to answer your summons. And so, the monsters were eradicated, and the sorcerer was defeated.
Or you could
Peace
have
soon
just
returned to the
let my
capital.
novelette take care of it.
Those in the court, manipulated by the sorcerer, some remembered the names of the heroes who saved their kingdom. But others simply continued their lives none the wiser. Such is the story of they will always... Yes,
It's a pretty solid story overall. That final
Oh, right.
Not bad as a story
yeah,
quest,
mine nearly
honestly.
scared the daylights out of me when it started.
It was
glowing.
interesting in the
I
end,
took a
but
oh.
hey,
did you have a good time?
too much talking.
Sure, nope.
Then I'll head back
Too much
once
text.
Mr. Florian.
You're right.
Well, see you all.
Okay, so, can I ask now,
I think it should be fine.
what in the world was going on back there?
So you saw through all of that?
That time in the cave when you told us to close our eyes?
I was dying of curiosity the entire—
Guess none of us wanted.
What are you all talking about?
Oh, wait.
You're...
It's probably more accurate to say
What?
So loud.
Hey, you! Get up right Did Paimon just hear that right? You guys made up that whole last part on the spot? It's not nice to lie to people, but
Yeah,
if Paimon knew something...
Everything was under
As if.
Guess I'm just you. As for you,
I know.
I would say you may have been blinded. You'll be far more used.
But
Of course. As far as I'm concerned.
thank you so until we meet again.
And to the last part of the story, hopefully. Come on.
speaking of Marashose hunters, what should we do about the treasure in that cave?
Leave it be.
Are you sure? We could show it to people.
No. I am no exception.
That's certainly very.
Wait,
That's because the
Oh.
Well, I'm sure.
Oh?
This particular devorator, the names you recited all belonged to the bravest hunters.
so the name...
Navia. Everything you said during your...
Huh? Oh. I.
I really appreciated those words.
All right. Don't get all sentimental on me. Anyway, let's not talk about that anymore.
I do agree. We should
I should
finish
probably
this
head back as
quest
well.
because we've done
This story was
everything we
truly
should.
incredible.
Traveler. Should your name and deeds be forgotten, what do you think the significance of your journey will be?
Ooh, that's a good
I
question.
suppose the significance would be the journey itself and the world we helped create. There's still value in the time I shared with everyone here, in the things we were able to accomplish, even if no one remembers them.
A great answer. I'll remember it.
And what
Me?
would your answer
The
be?
Marashose hunter says nothing in response to that question. Perhaps her answer lies in her silence. An unspoken vow left to echo through the night. The path she walks needs no explanation.
We finished it much earlier because I did in the end skip a little bit more than usual. But hey, anyways, it was a good story in the end. The only thing that is a little bit troubling me is that they are putting a lot of text and, you know, they're speaking too much, just too much talk in the story. But as a story quest for the character, I did find it interesting, just because of a little bit of past, but more of the, you know, they made it as a game, so, and made the story in that game. I guess that it was okay. Not that bad as some story quests that we had, so yeah. I will see you... I'm not really sure. Maybe in 2 days. We will see. Maybe in 2
Melusines
days.
are beautiful creatures.
And we will have the Siegewin's story quest. And after that we have Emily. Also, I think that we should have the Moalanis, but it doesn't show it yet. So, anyways, thank you everyone for joining. I will see you in the next one, hopefully in 2 days. I'm not sure, but you will have to wait and see. Maybe I will put schedule, maybe I won't. It depends how sure I'm of the timing. So yeah, see you in the next one.